Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and halfway through we stop for a section called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. You liked it, so we spun it off to this, a standalone. Yeah. We're now at number 74. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea to get a question in. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, I put a post out with Zach and I holding coffees. It's only up for a short time, so get your questions in early. Once we gather them all, we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Hey guys, just wondering what your opinions are on Genesis' newly revealed Magma line of cars. I think they look awesome, especially with all this suede material in the interior and carbon fiber bits on the exterior. I'm most curious about the pricing and how competitive they will be to other luxury brands. Well, your guess is as good as ours, really, right?
Well, it's interesting that they've come up with this Magma line, which is obviously a higher end version of their EVs, just as Ford announced they're getting rid of the Mustang Mach-E GT,
I know,
the performance model.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure there's a big market for, I guess you could say electric cars are performance anyway because they have great torque.
Sure.
It's interesting to see how many people are willing to spend extra money to get an even quicker and different looking car. I don't know.
The display was hot.
It did look good.
It looked really good. I would say that it was probably one of the best displays along with the Infinity display, so modern and sophisticated there. So before I start this next thing, Genesis says that this GV60 Magma is going into production. It's happening. We suspect that it's probably going to have the power of the Ioniq 5N, yeah. I would say.
It's a rebadging process.
Over 600 horsepower. I think the Ioniq 5N has 545 pound-feet of torque. That's going to be a beast. I don't know if we need this much power with electric vehicles, but somebody is probably going to buy it. I think that they look great.
It's interesting because we had a round table. We were in New York as guests of Infinity and of Nissan, and we had a round table with a senior executive from the North American office, and he basically told us this race to have ultra-fast electric vehicles, he thinks a bit of a mug's game because just a regular EV is so much quicker than an internal combustion engine anyway, and people, they can see the data and how much people actually utilize all that power, and they don't. Like, I always think this race is 0 to 60 by Tesla and all these other brands to see who's the quickest is the stupidest metric. Nobody drives like that on a day-to-day basis.
Nobody drives like that. You just don't need that kind of power. Even on the highways here, there's a speed limit. How are you going to go that fast?
What I do like on the highways, you want to merge, you want to get between a truck and another truck and get away from them, you boom, and you're gone. That's all the power I need. I don't need anything more than that.
No, and most EVs will provide that. Yeah. You don't need the high performance.
I just find it interesting that Ford said, yeah, we have the Mach-E Performance GT, and it's gone, so we'll see if this takes off.
I'm curious about your experience filming while at car shows with people popping into the frame and are filming the same time as you. You both make it look so effortless. I don't know if I could contain my composure so well. Love your content. Well, I think we just finished the New York Auto Show, and one of our videos of the Infiniti QX80, holy smokes, the amount of people at that booth was insane. Well,
so they are the victims of their own success. I think the way they organized it could have been done better. So they had lots of food and drinks. And when I mean drinks, I mean real drinks. So people came around and were eating and drinking. The problem for us wasn't the people walking around. It was the chatty Cathys there talking away, eating and drinking champagne, and they had nothing to do with the car. They just were there to eat and talk.
At highway speeds to make it more aerodynamic. Can you guys, excuse me, if you guys are going to chat, could you go over that way? Because we're trying to record everything here.
So there's that component, but I've been going to auto shows for 25 plus years, and I've gotten to the point where I'm just as rude back. So if I'm in the middle of, we call it a stand-up, where you're standing in front of the car and you're talking, and someone walks through, I go, hey, what do you think we're doing here? What the f***? Like, come on, like, show some respect and courtesy. So I have no problem telling people off.
The issue is when we first got to the Infiniti booth, it was super busy, but I have to tell you, if we hadn't done it then, it would have been much worse. It got busier once they started serving alcohol a little bit later in the day. But there was a point in that QX80 video that I'm in the back seat and I'm trying to present, and there's a woman who just jumps in the front seat taking selfies.
But she's a Mexican journalist. She's been on many programs with us.
I think it's insane.
I think the auto journalists are fine because we all have to work together.
Yeah.
There was another Mexican guy over at the Kicks, and if he did one take, he was doing this Instagram stuff where he's moving his phone in really fast, and he was like in Spanish, he's going blah 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 blah, blah. And then he looked at his phone, blah, 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 blah. And if he did it once, he did it 50 times.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he didn't obviously what he was saying.
I'm like, dude, we're the opposite. We're do one take, that's good, let's move on.
You have to move on. You just cannot sit there and focus. And if you are a nervous person, there are some journalists that prefer to stand up and do a YouTube video with not many people around.
Good luck.
If you're that kind of person, I don't know if an auto show is the right mix for you.
I will say, having traveled to all throughout North America, Canadian auto shows, in China, Japan, and Europe, you know who the worst are for getting in your way and being rude? The Europeans.
Yeah.
They are absolutely brutal. You get some guy with a scarf, you know, Pierre or whoever, and he just like, ugh. If they could smoke and do it at the same time, that would really complete the picture. But they're the rudest, in my opinion.
I think at auto shows, you just got to get in there and you got to do it.
You got to be rude.
That's it.
You got to be rude. I've learned you got to be rude back.
You got to
get out of my shot.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Which would you pick, Toyota, Tacoma, or Ford Ranger? Why? Also, I want a truck with a 6-foot bed. What are my options?
Well, if you want the 6-foot bed, you're getting the Tacoma because the Ranger doesn't have it.
Here's the thing about the Tacoma and the 6-foot bed. It's very limited. You know, when you take a look at Tacoma trims, I know a lot of people have reached out to me interested in the Tacoma, and they're like, but I want the 6-foot bed and I want this and I want that. It's just not being offered. So there are certain trims that have the 5-foot bed and some that have the 6-foot bed, and it may not be what you want. As for the Ranger, it's a 5-foot bed only. We asked the chief engineer why they did that. He said, look, we could have done a 6-foot bed, but we just thought we would do one good truck with a 5-foot bed.
That's a lame answer.
That has all the features that we want to add in it.
That's a lame answer. Oh, we did it because we want to make the best possible truck. If you want to make the best possible truck, have configurations. At least Toyota offers it.
Yeah, but we need more configurations with the Tacoma. That's the thing.
Yeah, but at least they offer it.
Yes,
the
they
thing
offer
is,
it.
They got rid of the access cab. Dumb move. You know, I just don't. The whole midsize pickup truck thing is just confounding to me because they've made them so expensive.
Yeah.
They've limited what you can actually buy. That's why you go and buy a Maverick.
You know which one is another good one to consider that has a 5-foot and a 6-foot bed is the Nissan Frontier. And we really like that.
And a good old a large displacement 3.8 liter naturally aspirated.
Yes, you might want to. Yeah, you might want to consider that one. Another viewer, actually a guy that I used to work with at Pepsi, he asked us about the Frontier, and I said it was great. We had just driven it in Quebec, and he bought it, and he absolutely loves it.
I like the Frontier a lot.
What do you guys think of the Rivian R2 and R3? I think the R3 looks amazing.
Well, I think the R3, that's the one with the hatchback, right? That's the one to me that looks like a Dodge Omni GLH.
Yeah.
And the GLH stood for?
What?
Goes like hell.
Oh, yeah.
The GLH. The
It's
Dodge,
quite small, that R3.
yeah, and they think it's going to be kind of like a performance hatch. I think that one, if they brought it out today, I would sell. It would sell.
Well, I actually prefer the look of the R2 myself, but I think they're both great. They should go into production, or actually not go into production, should hit dealerships at the beginning or first quarter of 2026. So they have big plans for it.
2026 is still a year and a half away.
I know. And they say that there's going to be two battery options, and the larger battery will have 300 miles of range for both the R2 and R3.
Are they going to come up with the R2 and the D2?
D2, yeah.
The R2 D2?
R2 D2. No, just the R2 and the R3. Anyway, I think they look terrific. I think Rivian needs this. They need a less expensive vehicle in their fleet.
Do you know what they need to do? They need to get Fisker to make it for them, because that's not going well.
It's not
All right,
going
let's
well
move
at
on.
all. Thanks for your honest reviews and comparisons on vehicles in Canada. You're welcome. We're looking into luxury SUV. Our first luxury vehicle is the Lincoln Corsair, worth a look at reliability and luxury. Or should we stick to the X3, Q5, or GV70? Is it worth the wait for the Q5 update coming in 2025?
So of the Lincolns, the Corsair is the one that does the best in terms of quality scores. If it was me, I would just say get an X3 and be done with it. It's such a good product. It is going to be updated, but you could you could double down and do a short 2-year lease on a X3 and then flip into the new one. And the froth by that time will have probably come out of the market for all the people that want to get it first.
Yes.
You could do that.
Hey, before I jump into this, I just wanted to say that online they're saying that the R2 is expected to start at around $45,000 US.
Andrea, a year and a half
We'll
from
see.
now, not a chance it's going to start at that price.
We'll see what happens,
You know,
right?
the Cybertruck was supposed to be 35 or 40 grand. I don't know. It's
No
not
way that
No.
Cybertruck is going to be that. Okay, so the Corsair for Consumer Reports gets a good overall score of 72 out of 100, and we like that one, including the plug-in hybrid. The X3, 86 out of 100, Q5, 67 out of 100, and I'm a little bit surprised by the Genesis GV70 score of 63 out of 100. I haven't heard of a lot of issues with the GV70, so I'm surprised about that. And then for JD Power, they all get about the same. Corsair 78, 81 for the X3, 76 for the Q5, and GV70, 79 out of 100. So JD Power scores it a bit higher.
So the Corsair is based on the Ford Escape. And we like the Ford, just the Ford product is very good. And the highlights for the Ford are nice road insulation, good handling, comfortable, smooth and quiet. And then you turn it into a Lincoln and you add more insulation, you add comfier seats. Ford does excellent seats too. Nicer interior. So it's all adding up to be not a bad product. But if it was my money, especially for resale value, I'd get the X3.
Love the show. Thank you. I recently test drove a BMW 330i for a new luxury daily driver, and it disappointed me. The handling was great, but so numb. I couldn't tell if I was going 40 or 80 miles per hour. What would you recommend for around 50,000? Now, we haven't driven the 330i in quite some time. We did want to get that back we were talking about. I'm surprised it has a numb feeling. BMW is usually
They've gotten
so
softer over the
great.
years. The German brands used to be quite firm and sharp, and as the years have gone on, they've become softer. The latest Mercedes is even worse.
The one I would recommend in this category, hands down, Alfa Romeo Giulia. Now, before you say, but isn't Alfa Romeo unreliable?
Isn't Alfa Romeo unreliable, Andrea?
Type away for all you people who own an Alfa Romeo, and they will start writing, no issues with my Alfa Romeo.
We have one booked in a few weeks. It's not just the Alfa Romeo Giulia, Andrea. It's the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quattroporte with the with the big ass engine in it. So we can't wait to drive that.
Isn't it Quadrifoglio?
Oh, Quattroporte. No, Quattroporte was the Maserati.
Yes.
Okay, that is a car, by the way. It's the
But he meant Quadrifoglio.
Quattrofoglio.
Yeah.
The Quattroporte. Do you know what that meant? 4-door. That was the sedan.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
So the Giulia is a Quattroporte as well.
So I would stay away from Audi because S4, A4, great cars, but also very, very light steering. That's an Audi trait. If you're finding that with the BMW, I don't think Audi would be good. The Genesis G70 is okay.
It's okay. Andrew doesn't like the seating position.
I don't love the seating in it, so it's not one.
They've all gotten soft. You know what? Go try a Lexus IS300.
That was fun.
That has got really nice handling, bulletproof. So Lexus IS300. That would be the one maybe to get.
We enjoyed the TLX that we recently had, the Type S, but I would still get the Giulia because it just looks hot. How much do the VW cars cost to maintain versus the Japanese brands? On their website, they have a chart showing they cost less as the mainstream brands. Is this information, in your experience, true?
Okay, so Andrew and I talked about this the other day, and I said, well, the only way you can quantify it is to do the prepaid maintenance. So if you go into a Volkswagen store and you get a new car, you're going to maybe be offered 3 or 4 years prepaid maintenance. And when they probably knock the price down, and they're smart to do it, because one of the biggest problems for retailers is getting people to bring their car back and have it serviced at the dealer, because you don't have to have your car serviced at the dealer. You can have it serviced somewhere else. So they've obviously knocked the price down, and it is, they claim, more competitive.
Yeah, so this is what it says online in Canada, because some of these non-luxury brands in the US actually have complimentary.
No. Included. It's not complimentary.
2 year. Well, Toyota is one. Can you believe that? You get 2 years complimentary scheduled maintenance.
Included.
So it's not going to be the same. I don't think that this holds true in the US myself. But this is what it says online. Volkswagens consistently rank top 3 or better when compared to the scheduled maintenance costs of competitors. Now, Kia and Hyundai offer a 5-year warranty, and VW offers a 4-year warranty. But I think Zach's right with the prepaid. It's the only way to do it. If you go to Repair Pal, that might be a different story long term, you know, once that warranty is
But the
done.
problem is with repairs and maintenance is there's too many variables. Like how much do you drive, where do you drive, what kind of conditions do you drive in? So there's a lot of variables. If you're so you have to go baseline, and that would be just regular maintenance.
Yeah.
And they claim they've got an advantage.
Do you think if Subaru will add a wilderness trim to the new Forester?
Oh, hell yeah, they're going to.
For sure.
That's the easiest one so far.
Love it. Okay, we'll do one more. I had used your X3 2022 review 2 years ago and went ahead and bought it. It really helped. Now, due to a newborn kid and financial crunch, I'm planning to sell the X3 and looking for a non-luxury brand with reliability, such as the RAV4, CR-V, and CX-5, all used. But first two are ridiculously high priced for the reason we all know. Can you suggest whether going with the CX-5 Grand Touring 2020 with 36,000 miles, it was a lease car for the price of $23,000 makes sense? I like the drive quality of the CX-5, but it lacks space compared to the others. And he also goes on to ask if he should get the extended warranty because the warranty is done in these vehicles.
Okay, so if you're downsizing from a luxury to a non-luxury brand due to financial conditions, that's no fun. We all know that.
Yeah.
So you probably want to get the warranty just so you don't have any shocks to your wallet, especially if you got a new family.
Yeah.
The only problem with the CX-5 is it is small. It's smaller than the X3 for the back seat and the cargo space. So I would look, you know what, I would look for a used CR-V.
Yeah, because that CR-V was a pretty good size.
Yeah, it's very, very
Tech
useful.
isn't updated, but if you're okay with that, look, out of them all, the most fun to drive is the CX-5, hands down. It's just very dynamic. But I have had viewers who say they put a car seat in the back.
Riddle me this, Andrea.
Yeah.
You're a mom. Well, you are a mom, but you have a new baby and you've got car seats, maybe even a rear-facing car seat, and that's a headache.
Yeah.
And you got strollers and diaper bags and a husband to cart around. Would a CX-5 be on your list? Honestly, it wouldn't be on my list.
No, it wouldn't be on the list because the cargo space isn't as big as the others. The rear seat, you can get a car seat, but
you might not want to hear this, but a used CR-V might not be a bad idea. Get the extended warranty so you can sleep well at night, and then just live through this time of your married life, and things will get better and you'll make more money again, and then you can go back to a luxury car. That's the way you have to look at it. It's like, you just got to eat it. You just got to eat it.
The CX-5 is a good deal. I mean, that's really priced quite well for that CX-5. But yeah, I don't know if you can really grow into it. That's the problem.
But the other half of it is you can make anything work if you wanted to. If you really love the CX-5 and you're married to the dynamics and you think it's a great car and you are stepping out of a BMW, you can make it work. You can get a compact stroller. You can get a smaller diaper bag.
You could.
You could look for the best seat to fit in the back seat. You can make it work.
You can make it work. We bought a car. And then we bought the stroller to fit in the car when we had the kids.
All you need to do is go to Europe and see what families use to get around. And they don't even use SUVs for the most part. They're using little subcompact cars. So it can be done. It can be done.
Hey, I saw a family in a little Hyundai Venue. Tall boys sitting in the back seat. They both had their head and their face right against the window. Like, I don't know. They didn't look like they were having fun, but they fit. and mom and dad were in the front. And,
But the seat's all the way back.
But you can make it work. So good deal on the CX-5. Make it work. Otherwise, yeah, sounds like you're going to pay a little bit more for the CR-V and the RAV4.
CR-V.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. If you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, I put a post out. Get your questions in. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
See you next time.